I think this year we're going to see a little bit more of a deviation to kind of like the classic stained glass, leaded glass look. Some clients like to do the classic bevel look with no colors, whether that be a custom design that means something to you. Most of the time, I'm asked for privacy. Hi, my name is Shannon. I am the designer here at Scottish Stained Glass. One of the most popular projects that Scottish Stained Glass gets to do is often kitchen windows, either pass-throughs to another room like your dining room, or a common location for a window would be above the sink. Ways that we can incorporate stained glass is either privacy, depending on how close your neighbors are, or just to add a little bit of beauty. Some clients like to do the classic bevel look with no colors. Sometimes we call that leaded glass. And then sometimes clients like to use colorful glass, whether that be a custom design that means something to you, or something that we create for you, but always a fun way to add a little bit of beauty to your kitchen. Oftentimes, clients will ask me if we have like stock designs that we can provide for them. And what's fun about us is that we are completely custom from start to finish. You and I work together to come up with a design that means something to you, that feels personalized to you. Some of my favorites would incorporate our bevel clusters, which is just a collection of really beautiful bevels. And then we can fill out the rest of the space to scale it appropriately for your application. That's definitely one of my favorites. I love, especially when we can do something custom with something that means something to the homeowner. I've done a window with a little cow in it because the homeowner loved her little cows. So just doing fun projects like that actually provide some substance and meaning to the client that I'm working with. I feel like that's a really special way to incorporate stained glass, and something that not everyone thinks to do. I think this year we're going to see a little bit more of a deviation to kind of like the classic stained glass, leaded glass looks. So again, incorporating bevel clusters, diamond bevels, anything with bevels, because the way that the light plays with bevels is just, it's unmatched. It's so beautiful. I think we're going to get back to the classic looks. We can always do something with a lot of color, a lot of rainbows, but I'm predicting a trend to more of the classic Scottish style. One of the ways that we can make stained glass actually functional is by providing whatever is needed. Most of the time, I'm asked for privacy, depending on how close your neighbors are to you and what you do in your kitchen, none of my business. But if you want privacy, we can select glass that tends to be a little harder to see through, that still lets the sunlight in. We can be thoughtful with the actual materials that we use. The glass that we select can serve that function if that's what you need. If all you want is to add a little bit of beauty, we can do that too. One of the most popular locations for a window is above the sink. I don't know if that's because we want sunlight when we're doing dishes, it just makes it a little less terrible, or I don't know what the reason is for that, but I feel like that's a very popular location for a window. And I love the idea of adding stained glass, especially if you have a hand in curating it with me. It's just going to feel that much more special when you're cleaning your cups and glasses. I also get asked a lot of times for pass-through windows, transoms that are in your kitchen to your dining room or your living room, whatever is close by. I feel like you could really add stained glass anywhere, but it's somewhere where you want to be looking at it, that the light can pass through, and just add a little bit of joy to your kitchen. Start the stained glass process. I know it kind of seems daunting to begin with, but it's actually quite simple, and I hold your hand through the whole process. So as the designer here, the first thing we'll talk about is your intention for the piece. What do you want this to feel like? What function does it need to provide for you? And then we'll kind of get into sizing. We'll need to know size of your current window, or if you want to do a freestanding piece, what size you're thinking, if you want to frame it, all those little details. And I know the questions to ask. You don't have to fret about coming up with all of these items to talk about. We'll talk about price. The way that I price is based off of design complexity, how long it's going to take our artisans to create, how long it takes me to design, what materials we're going to be using for you, what size your piece is. All of that goes into giving you kind of a rough idea of what you could spend. If it's feasible for you, if it's something you want to pursue, then we move to the next step, which is actually getting to design. You and I work together to look at inspiration images. I scale everything appropriately. It's very hands-on. You get to be a part of the process. It's meant to be collaborative, and it's really fun in that regard. I'll do hand sketches, and you get to be a part of that process. And then I will hand select glass for you from either our vintage collection, or we can order new glass for you depending on where your tastes fall. And then once we get your glass selected and your CAD finalized, then our artisans will start to create your piece for you. One of the responsibilities of a designer is to make sure that this piece kind of looks like it was there the whole time. Let's say it's in your kitchen. I will ask for photos of your backsplash and your countertop and your kitchen island stools. I want to make sure that this piece kind of coordinates with your intention and what we want the space to feel like. That's really important to me. Another common question is, how long does something like this last? We say an easy 80 to 100 years. This is meant to be an heirloom piece. It's meant to stay with the home and just become part of the home. So over time, the lead will start to break down, but you've got like a century or so to enjoy that beautiful piece before it starts to do that. It is certainly a long-term investment and will increase the beauty in your home, increasing the sellability. Everybody loves stained glass, and just add some beauty for you and whoever comes to follow.